there, my name's Glenna and welcome to my very first knitting podcast. I don't know, like you, I probably tend to watch too many YouTube videos on knitting, and I thought, well, who knows, maybe somebody's interested in what I'm doing at my house too, so here I am. I will start off just by telling you what I'm wearing. This is the Fingerless sweater, I believe it's called. I can't remember who designed it, but I will put a link to the pattern in the comment section below. I've knit a couple of them. It's a super easy pattern and yeah, very quick knit, and oh, I just love it. It's been unseasonably cold here in the Okanagan for the last week, and I actually had to put it on, which, I mean, normally in June we're out in tank tops and shorts already. Oh, there goes my bird clock. I have a lot of clocks that make noises in my house, and one of them is an Audubon bird clock that goes off in the kitchen every hour. So it is just 11 o'clock in the morning here. Anyhow, I thought I would start off by telling you what some of my works in progress are. First off, I am currently working on the Drops Silver Stag sweater, which is a free pattern, and oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. My friend Jane gave me the wool. She was cleaning out her yarn stash, and as soon as I saw the red, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I want to do. And I know knitting a Christmas sweater in June is probably silly, but that's, yeah, I just wanted to get it done. The yarn is, what's it? Oh, here it is. It's called Le Petit Lamb's Wool by a company called Beaches and Beach, I don't know, it looks like Bitches and Bitches, but I think it's called Beaches and Beaches. This is the tag here, and the color is Norwegian red. And oh my gosh, I just love this. The wool's kind of prickly, so I'm hoping that it will wash up a little softer. I'll, soak it for a while. I had to do that with this sweater. I think I soaked this sweater for almost a full day in that wool softener stuff, and it helped a lot because it was like I was afraid I wouldn't be able to wear it because I find prickly wool sometimes a little hard on my skin. But yeah, I'm just finally through all the patterned work, so it's just nothing but ripping through it from here. I guess ripping is the wrong term to use. That's more what you do when you frog. I guess what I mean is it's just kind of mindless knitting from here down, and there's a couple more increases to go. And yeah, the pattern is really, I was going to say very easy to follow. There's a couple of places where they have things written a little after the fact and you go, oh damn, and you have to go back a bit. But for the most part, it's fairly easy. It's got a chart to follow. I find when I use charts, I will look at the row and then write it out sort of backwards, the way you read it with your eyes. Does that make sense? I'll use two different colored pens so that I know which color I'm working on, and it's like three, there's like 3 reds dash 2 whites dash 4 reds dash 2 whites, whatever, so that then I don't have to keep looking at the chart. And I've also found when it's a pattern like this, I use stitch markers between each section, so that if I make a mistake, I'm only off by like 12 stitches that I have to go backwards, because there's nothing worse than when you're working on pattern work and you get to the end of a row and you realize that you're off by 2 stitches or something, and it's like, and then you have to rip the whole thing out again or leave it or whatever. And I'm one of those who tends to rip it out. I don't like having mistakes, but I mean, you always have mistakes in knitting, right? It's just part of knitting. I just finished these these fingerless gloves, and there was, yeah, this was really fun stuff to work with. Oh my gosh, I love this. That's the, what's it called? The Schoppel? Oh, the Zauberball or something? Where's my knitting journal? Here it is. I have it written down. Somewhere I have it written down in this pile. Oh, there we are, fingering weight fingerless gloves. Yes, it was a free pattern I got online called Fingering Weight Fingerless Gloves, go figure. I did some modifications to it though. I did add 2 short rows into them because I find with fingerless gloves, I didn't when I made this pair, and I find that when you put them on, you tend to get like it doesn't fit the finger right, you know? So I put short rows so that with this pair, it actually comes out to the right size. So yeah, just all it took was 2 short rows, and it made all the difference. I will try and write the pattern up the way I've redone it and post it free somewhere so that you can find it. And if I do, I will put a link in down below. Anyhow, so I am also, in addition to working on my Silver Stag sweater, I am also working on a pair of vanilla socks, which I tend to use my favorite vanilla socks pattern a lot, because it's, I guess, you know, it's what, you know how it is when you use a pattern over and over, it gets to the point where you don't even have to look at it anymore, other than maybe to remember 1 or 2 things. And I just find them to be great mindless knitting. This is the second sock here. That's as far as I've gotten, just from the cuff down. I haven't got to the heel yet. I do have 1 sock finished with it. I haven't blocked it or anything. I'm not big on blocking. I don't know why. I guess I'm lazy for that. But yeah, it's very interesting yarn. I believe it's by a company called Opal. It's it's a Black Dragon Fantasy Island is the color. And I don't know if anybody else is doing this, but I'm taking part in the Crazy Sock Ladies Summer Sock Camp. So this is my 2nd pair of socks for sock camp, and I just can't wait to finish them because I went to Vernon the other day. I live in Kelowna, British Columbia. Vernon is about a 45-minute drive away, and they were having a yarn sale in Vernon, and who doesn't love a yarn sale, right? So even though I have very strict rules about buying yarn, I'm not allowed to buy for a project until I am a good way through the one I'm working on. I'm one of those people who really likes to finish things. I don't have a billion works in progress strewn around the house. It's not my style. I like to get things finished so that I can move on to the next one. And so yeah, I've got this yarn. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I got this sock yarn. I've already wrapped it into a ball, so unfortunately you can't see the skein. It was beautiful, but it's Color Story yarns, and it's hand painted in Peru. And oh wow, look at the colors in that. I think they are going to make the most beautiful socks. I can't wait to get started on them, but I only have 1 pair of 2.25 Chiagu needles, and so I have to get these finished first. But I do tend to take my knitting with me everywhere I go, my socks. I went to the thrift store and I got this great little bag for, I think it was $2, Betty Davis. And I just throw my yarn into it along with my wallet and my phone, and I'm ready to go anywhere. That's pretty much, I'm kind of low maintenance, so that's all I need. I take these with me wherever I go. I take them when I'm, you know, to the dog park. I knit while I'm walking the dogs, but only after they've pooped. I don't like Doesn't it drive you nuts when you get to the dog park and you see all these people on their phones and they're not paying any attention to their dog, and you're like, hey, your dog's taking a crap over there. And then you start feeling like the poop police or something, and it's not good. So after they've finished doing their stuff, then I knit, and while I'm walking, and I just walk loops, and it takes me about the same amount of time to walk a loop of the dog park as it does to do a row of knitting. So after 10 loops, and I've got 10 rounds done, and back in the car. And and I confess, I do knit at red lights. I know I'm not supposed to, but I mean, you see people on their phones all the time and they're not paying attention. At least I can knit while I'm, I don't have to be staring at my knitting the whole time. And I see the lights change. I'm paying way more attention than the people on their phones. So yes, I knit at red lights, and when I'm stuck in traffic jams, and at the chiropractor's office, or when I'm at the grocery store. It's amazing how much your patience level goes up when you're stuck at Costco or somewhere, standing in line, and you've got your knitting with you. You just knit away, and it's not wasted time. It's great. So yeah, $2 at the thrift store. I found this cool bag, and bam, there I go. So yeah, that's my 2 works in progress at the moment. That's all I have on the go are my socks and my silver stag sweater. But also, while I was at the yarn store in Vernon, I was allowed to purchase the yarn for my next sweater, which I am super, super, super excited about. I've wanted to make this sweater for a while, ever since I saw it on, I believe it was Tina's Simply in Stitches podcast where I saw it. It's called the Trinigan, and she had it on her list of sweaters at one point that she wanted to make, and then she decided not to. And I'm wondering if she decided not to after she saw the price of the spin cycle yarn. The recommended yarn for this is it's all hand spun, hand dyed by a company called Spin Cycle. And I got all excited when I saw that they sold Spin Cycle at the one of the local yarn stores here in Kelowna called The Art of Yarn. And so I went in to check it out, and it was $48 a skein. 48. So here in Canada with tax, that comes to over $100 for 2 skeins, which, it's beautiful. But I sadly read the directions for the sweater wrong, and I thought I only needed 2 skeins of the bright colored one. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna splurge and I'm gonna get them. So I bought them, and I bought the yarn the blue yarn to go with it as, the main color. And when I went to cast on, I realized I had read the directions wrong. I actually needed 4 skeins of the accent color, which would have been over $200 just for the accent colors. So I sadly had to take them back, and I was very grateful that the Art of Yarn offered me a store credit, because it had been more than, I think they give you 2 weeks to give you a full refund or whatever, but they were great. They gave me a store credit for the yarn, and so I had planned to go back there to get the yarn for my next project. But while I was in Vernon at the yarn sale, oh my gosh, I found this stuff, and I knew this was the wool or the yarn for my Trinigan. This is absolutely incredibly gorgeous yarn. It's by Malabrigo. For the main color, I got the Bobby Blue. And oh, look, I don't know if you can see the different little variegations in the color, but oh my gosh, this is just, it's like a pair of blue jeans almost that, are faded in places or whatever, but oh, and it's so soft. And then for the accent color, I got the Anniversario or whatever, but also the Malabrigo. Yeah, and oh wow, This is just so gorgeous. I cannot wait to dive into this. It's like, it makes my mouth water looking at it. It's just so beautiful. And I think they will go together really nicely in the Trinnigan sweater. So yeah, but first I have to finish this. And there's, you know, the fun part's over with, and now it's just straight knitting, get her done, and then I can cast on the Trinnigan. So hopefully on my next podcast, I will have that done and be wearing it and be able to tell you that I have cast on the Trinnigan, which I've already started looking at the directions. It looks a little complicated. You have to do an I-cord cast on, which I've never done before. So I'm looking forward to learning something new. So that's about it for today. None of my podcasts are going to be terribly long. I love to talk, but I don't want to bore people. Just thought I would talk about my knitting projects, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another 2 weeks or so with an update. All right, have a great day. Bye.